we'd like to know, we have so many questions to ask you, to be honest. Let's start with, you've had several interactions with Jimmy to start with. And how do you think, as a forum facilitator, and you've been a trainer and you've done so much. I read your CV, it was amazing. And I was more than astounded to read your accomplishments and achievements. How do you think Jimmy's enthusiasm and approach is going to be different when it comes to DLC forums?
I have a feeling Jimmy doesn't take no for an answer. And he is a dreamer at the size of the globe, and he thinks in every area how things can connect the dot to make an impact across different dimensions by following probably the unique principles of business and values that drive him. And I have a feel that he's a guy that wants to make an impact in the world. He's not here to waste time, but to truly contribute. And I also learned that Jimmy is a big lover of learning, and he believes in these groups, that they create a platform for people to get educated and to explore the things that they don't naturally talk about. So I think the combination of that, plus his ability to convince people from all over the world to come and to contribute because of something about his personality, no doubt will make this successful. I don't think he likes to invest his time and energy in things that will be a waste of time. So I'm very proud to be associated with this.
Absolutely. Jimmy, would you like to say something to him?
Amir, it's a wonderful session listening to you. I was just itching for our members to be exposed to you, your ways of thinking, and especially non-flicks, and how does non-flick really impact your lives. Today is the first time they are actually being exposed to the peer groups and forums. Love for you to tell them about family forums and what kind of a role do they play, or they may play, or they can play. Family forums, like we discussed earlier, are very much a part and parcel of our Hindu culture. We call them ghar sabhas. But it would be interesting, since you are a champion in the cause of family forums, to give them an exposure into what are these family forums and what kind of an impact do they have onto families and value systems across.
Music to my ears. Thank you for asking that question. Look, guys, with all the things you will do in business and life, and whatever fortune or success you will build, if the people around you and your family are going to be miserable and fighting with each other, and you'll end up seeing next to your bed of your deathbed the Filipino that took care of you in the last few years and not your family members, and you will look through the window and you'll see your children fighting outside of the room about who gets the cottage in the mountains, that would be a big disappointment in life. The things that give us the biggest joy and the things that really always defines how happy we will be is how miserable is our child. We will always be as happy as we feel that people that matter for us in life are happy. And you guys in India, with whom I have a very long love affair, put family at the forefront of your life in a very strategic way. Where else does the girl that get married go and live with the husband and his parents and share a house and a compound and learn to coexist in a very dynamically loaded environment that obviously has a lot of conflict and needs to learn, how do we talk about difficult things? How do we manage difficult conversations? Not how do we sweep it under the table or under the carpet and then it explodes one day like, all hell breaks loose. It is within your culture that the older brother gets the business and the younger one either works together well or needs to go to Dubai and start a branch of the business. And that if we are successful in doing it, then we need to work well together. And if I travel around the world, and I travel a lot, as you can imagine, I've seen the community of Indian people around the world and the organizations that we know to have a leading presence there in a very big way, not to mention some of the top CEOs of the world. But families are absolutely a critical place for us to help learn how to converse. I've just had last 10 days, a conversation with my kids, and we did the forum together. It took me some time to convince them, because it's not easy for the kids if I'm the moderator. But luckily enough, I took my son with me to run an event in Dubai on family, and he understood the process. He became the moderator. He led our family conversation. He knew who should go first, who should go next. And I was going last, by the way, not to influence them. But the things that I heard from my kids I have not heard before. I was blown away. Yeah. And when they were leaning on each other, I get emotional. If I see my kids getting along together well, I melt. And if I see my kids fighting with each other, I'm terrified. How long will that last? And how they supported their mom. She made a presentation. She says, I live in the world where I don't know really how to promote myself. She's an interior designer. And all of everything is happening on Instagram. I have no idea on that. And they started telling her, Mom, let us tell you. They showed her stuff. A family is a forum. A family is a relationship of a group of people that take care of each other. And if we teach families how to talk, most families says, we talk, we know how to talk. In the absence of process, people give advice. We tell our kids, here's what you need to do. All of a sudden, you should not learn in that university. And we start, and you know, when you're 2 years old, 5 years old, maybe you're willing to hear what to do or not to do. At a certain age, you kick back. If we talk to them eye to eye, like mature individuals in a real conversations, we will develop very powerful relationships. And I truly believe that in your society, this potential has tremendous force to create happy families and happy businesses. How many of you are in a family business at the end of the day? Right? So the ability to build this is absolutely critical. Thank you for that question, Jimmy.
Thank you, Amir. It was enlightening. There is something else that I've been struggling with since the time I've started DLC and pursuing the world of forums so actively and aggressively across. And the similar answer comes in even in New York, London, Mumbai, and Calcutta. It's the same. Entrepreneurs feel they are too busy to indulge into anything else in life. How do you tell an entrepreneur what he or she is missing out without getting into the world of forums?
It's true. People think that this is a taxing thing, 4 hours a month to spend with a group of people and to travel, and once a year to be in a retreat, to go away for 2-3 days. That part, by the way, they all like. Give me an excuse to go out with a group of people for 2-3 days. We'll hang around together. We'll play. No problem. I love coming to those retreats, of course, because that's when we really go deep, when we're relaxed and, sometimes around the fireplace at 2 o'clock in the morning, some deep learning happens about ourselves. But the investment on the regular basis, well, I go back to what I said before. If you have an opportunity to hear feedback on a challenge that you have, and if you scan the group that you have around you, who doesn't have a challenge in their life? I mean, life is by definition an uphill battle that has many challenges, great opportunities, and so many questions. And you have an opportunity to come into these meetings and to become a client of this group, and we have a dedicated attention to you. We'll give you a slot. People go to therapy, they pay $300 or whatever it is per hour. On the way there, they think a lot about what am I going to talk about. Here, you get a group of people that are experts in the art of management and managing complex life and businesses and family businesses, and you could pick their brain. This is the best 4 hours of your life. Now, I don't really need to tell you that from the angle of what I'm describing now. I need to tell you that around the world right now, there's about 100,000 CEOs that are in these groups. 100,000 leaders of what somewhere in the ballpark of $8 trillion turnover. Don't go into these groups because they're looking for someone to have a drink with. They have a great social life. Every night of the week, they can go to an event. They get invited everywhere. People want them in their weddings and they want them in their, they're not missing going out and meeting people. But where do they have an opportunity to converse and to open up in a totally transparent way and to say, guys, I don't know what to do. Don't tell anybody. What is that worth?
Amir, a big thank you from all of us at DLC Mumbai. It has been an amazing session. I am grateful to you because it's in Miami. It must be, you started off at about 6:30 in the morning, and that's early by any standards. But nevertheless, your presentation was as impactful, as passionate as one would expect out of somebody who's a supreme leader in the world of forums, somebody who's dedicated 26, 27 years of his life into the world of forums. And there is so much for us to gain and learn. Like you said, you are in the 72nd or 73rd iteration of your process book. That just goes to show that so each and every one of us need to be agile, adopt the processes, see what works, tweak the processes from time to time, learn from others, and each time we learn, we make sure that we share it with the world so that we are democratic by nature and not with an elitist mindset. But all in all, it's been a wonderful session. I love my sessions and interactions with you. I'm waiting for the time to meet you in person and for you to be in India at the Global Summit headquarters, where we can have a much larger cross-section of crowd benefiting from your presence and spending time with you. Thank you, Amir.